The door didn't creak. It snapped shut behind them. 3 coats, 3 shadows, 6 chances to die. Charlie was mid-count, fingers dirty with ink and grease when the room changed temperature. He didn't look scared, he looked annoyed. That was his mistake. The first gun cleared leather before he could finish the stack. No warning, no words, just noise. The first shot punched the air out of his chest. The second bent him backward. By the third, the floor was already rising to meet him. Wood, blood. Darkness spreading fast. They didn't rush it. Professionals never do. 3 more shots measured calm, close enough to smell the powder, close enough to be sure. When it was over, one of them nudged Charlie's neck with 2 fingers. Nothing. No pulse. No movement. Dead men don't need extra bullets. They stepped over the money. Left it right where it fell. That told the whole story. This wasn't theft. This was correction. 5 minutes passed before anyone breathed again. Mickey Sullivan had been folded behind the bar the entire time, praying to a god he hadn't visited in years. When he finally stood up, his legs barely listened to him. The room looked like a slaughterhouse. Too much red, too still. Charlie lay exactly where he fell. Mickey ran, out the back. Into the alley, slipping on garbage and guilt. He found a phone, hands shaking so bad he missed the coin slot twice. Ambulance, hurry, please, 3 minutes. That's how long death had to settle in. When Mickey came back, the body wasn't where he left it. Charlie Luciano was sitting upright back against the wall, breathing like a man who'd just come up from underwater. His shirt was ruined. His eyes were open, sharp, awake. Mickey froze in the doorway. For a second, nobody spoke. The room felt illegal just for existing. Charlie unbuttoned his jacket slowly, each movement deliberate like he was teaching a lesson. Under the fabric was something stiff, scarred, ugly. Canvas stretched over steel. 6 perfect dents. 6 failures. He peeled it off and let it drop to the floor. His ribs were screaming. He ignored them. "Did you recognize any of them?" he asked. Mickey shook his head so hard it looked painful. Charlie stood, collected the money from the floor like nothing had happened and slid it into his pocket. "Don't call anyone," he said. Mickey tried to argue. Hospital, police, something, anything. Charlie cut him off with a look that ended the conversation before it started. Outside, the night air bit down hard. Every breath hurt. Every step reminded him how close the math had been. He didn't head for a doctor, he headed for a phone, 2 blocks, a booth, 1 call. "Mayor," he said when the line picked up. Calm, controlled. "I need you, now bring Victor." There was a pause on the other end. Then just where? Charlie gave him an address and hung up. 40 minutes later, blood was drying on concrete in a Brooklyn warehouse. The vest sat on a table between them like evidence from a future trial. Victor studied it quietly. 6 impacts. Clean work. "Whoever ordered this," Victor said, "meant it." What? Charlie didn't answer right away. He was already thinking past the bullets, past the shooters, past the night itself. He knew exactly who had tried to erase him, and more importantly, he knew what scared that man most. Mayor waited for the next move. Charlie finally looked up. "No war," he said, and that's when the room got very quiet. Mayor didn't argue. That's how you knew something serious was forming. Most men would have been screaming for blood, calling favors, loading guns. Charlie just stared at the vest like it was a blueprint. "If Joe hears about this," Mayor said carefully, "he'll burn half the city down." "Exactly," Charlie replied. "And then what?" Silence stretched. The warehouse hummed with distant traffic and bad intentions. "Too many bodies," Charlie continued. "Cops get brave, politicians get nervous. Business dries up, everybody loses." Victor watched him closely now. This wasn't shock talking, this was planning. Charlie reached out, pressed 2 fingers into one of the dents, right over where his heart should have been. "They thought they were erasing me," he said. "Instead, they showed their hand." Mayor frowned. "So what's the play?" Charlie leaned back, finally allowing himself a breath. Not relief, calculation. "I'm not sending a shooter," he said. "I'm sending a thought." Victor's eyes narrowed. Thoughts travel farther than bullets. Charlie smiled, but it never touched his eyes. They worked quietly. No witnesses, no noise. Charlie wrote the note himself. 4 words, clean, no emotion. The kind of sentence that crawls into your head and refuses to leave. He folded it once, slid it into the vest, right over the damage, wrapped it in brown paper, tied it with twine, no name, no return, nothing to trace except intent. By morning it was out of their hands. Across the city, in a clean office that smelled like espresso and authority, the package arrived. Salvatore Maranzano was mid-meeting, territory maps spread across his desk, men leaning in, listening. When the knock came, nobody expected trouble. Trouble didn't announce itself. The package hit the table with a soft thud. Maranzano opened it. The room died instantly. 6 holes stared back at him like eyes. The vest was heavy, real, impossible to ignore. His fingers found the pocket without thinking. The note was small. Casual, cruel, he read it once. Then again. No one spoke. No one dared, because what sat on that table wasn't proof of survival, it was proof of restraint. Charlie hadn't begged, hadn't attacked, hadn't run to protection. He had answered an execution attempt with patience. That scared Maranzano more than any gunman ever could. 2 days later, Charlie walked into a bakery in Little Italy like he belonged there, because he did. Maranzano sat alone in the back, hands folded, face unreadable. No guards, no weapons on display, just 2 men and a decision that could end one of them. Charlie sat across from him. "You got my delivery?" Charlie asked. Maranzano studied him like a man seeing a ghost refuse to act like one. "I did," he said. "Good," Charlie replied. And then he waited. Because the most dangerous moment wasn't the shooting, it was what came next. And one wrong word at this table would finish what the bullets started. The silence wasn't awkward, it was tactical. Maranzano broke it first. "You should be underground." Charlie didn't blink. "I know." "Then why are you here?" Charlie leaned back, chair scraping just enough to remind the room he was real. "Because you missed." That landed. Maranzano's jaw tightened. Not anger, calculation. He was measuring distance now, not across the table but across the future. "You think this makes you untouchable?" Maranzano asked. Charlie shrugged. "No, it makes you predictable." That stung worse than an insult. Maranzano shifted. "You work with people who don't belong in our world." "What?" "I work with people who count correctly," Charlie said. "Money doesn't care where it comes from. That thinking gets men killed." Charlie leaned forward. "Old thinking gets empires buried." For the first time, Maranzano hesitated. Charlie didn't let him recover. "You already lost," he said calmly. "If I die, Joe burns your house down brick by brick. If I live, I keep expanding. Either way, you're reacting, I'm deciding." Maranzano stared at the table, not at Charlie, at the math. "So why are you here?" he asked again. Charlie lowered his voice. "Because there's a third option." He laid it out clean. No threats, no romance, lines on a map that didn't cross, profits that didn't overlap, a future where neither of them had to flinch every time a door opened. "When the old bosses fall," Charlie said, "we'll already be standing." Maranzano looked up slowly. "You're planning their deaths." "I'm planning survival," Charlie corrected. Minutes passed. The bakery noise faded into nothing. Flour dust hung in the air like suspended time. Finally, Maranzano extended his hand. "Deal." Charlie shook it. No smiles, no relief, because both men knew this wasn't peace, it was postponement. Word moved fast after that, faster than bullets. The story bent and stretched as it traveled, but the point stayed sharp. 6 shots. No grave, a vest returned with a message. Men started rethinking their moves. Charlie didn't celebrate, he didn't brag, he just kept working, expanding, building something that didn't care about bloodlines or traditions. Years later, when the old kings fell exactly like he said they would, no one was surprised, because the warning had already been delivered. 6 dents, 4 words, and a man who proved that staying calm could be deadlier than pulling the trigger.